Hi guys, Chris here and welcome to my comparison of the Cube iwork8 Ultimate, which is this model right here that doesn't have the Windows home button, and the Onda v820w CH. Both of these have the same chipset in them. It's the Atom X5Z8300. It can turbo up to 1.84 gigahertz. Now if we have a look at the design of both of them, you'll see that the Onda is actually just a little bit smaller and the bezels are a tiny bit smaller. They're both very similar in the way they look, both white of course, you can see, and we do have the Windows home button here on the Onda, and it is placed on the top with the Cube. Now they both have a plasticky build, and I find that the Onda's build is reasonably, well, for the price. I mean, both of these are about 80 US. It's okay, and so is the build of the Cube, but the Cube just is put together slightly better, and I prefer it over the Onda. I think the Onda's going to attract a little bit more dirt, that kind of fingerprint design. They have a textured design on the back there. I think it's going to attract a little bit more dirt on it, and I do like the silver they have put along here, Cube, and the fact that the buttons are actual metal, whereas the buttons on the Onda, they are plastic. Now the ports on both of them, they're in the same position. Wow, I almost just dropped a tablet then. They're both on the top, but there you can see they're spaced out a little differently. And we have the micro USB, HDMI, 3.5mm jack, and here's our micro SD card slot, and there's that home button again. And then on the Onda, 3.5mm jack, micro HDMI, and then the micro USB, and the micro SD card slot is on the top left hand corner, just right there, and it's a little hard to get the card in and out. Now both of them have very average cameras. Both of them have 2 megapixel cameras, front and back, and they're okay for video chat. That's about it really, because when you try and do anything else with them, you don't take a photo, then they do not look good at all. Now these screens, not sure what is going on here with the Onda, but you can see there's a huge difference when it comes to these screens. The Onda screen is very dull, not particularly fond of it, and you can see here there's quite a massive difference. The viewing angles also on the Onda, you can see hopefully in the video, they're just moving it around. The view angles are not really good. Now when you look at it straight on, it's not too bad, and the Cube on the other hand, the iwork8 Ultimate, is a lot better and definitely a lot brighter. They're both on 100% brightness at the moment. Hard to believe really when you look at the Onda just how dull it looks next to it. So when it comes to benchmarks on these tablets, they are very similar scores. You can already see the Geekbench score there, almost identical. And if I find here, this is the 3D Mark 11 score. 1 point off, so identical kind of scores. They're very hard to see on the screen. I'm going to have to dim this screen down. There we go. So it's kind of at a similar level. So even actually at 25% on the Cube screen is the equivalent of 100% on the Onda screen. That's just how bad it is. Okay, so what other benchmarks we have? So iStorm 1.2 scores. The Onda, for some reason, gets almost 2,000 points higher. I'm not really too sure why, but it does. It seems to be slightly faster, but you don't actually notice that in use. And this is the 3D Mark, PC Mark 7 score. Basically the same. There's like about 40 points, 30 to 40 points difference in it there. Very similar results. Battery life on both is about 4 hours, 3.5 to 4 hours. Isn't really wonderful, and this is giving us just a guess here using the Battery Bar Pro. It's about the same. Now both of these actually have problems with detecting the battery capacity. Just using Battery Bar Pro, it doesn't seem to detect it properly. I've noticed on some of the Cherry Trail tablets that I have reviewed, but I do actually have print screens of better battery stats there, and yeah, they're both around about the same. 4 hours. You get a little, actually probably about half an hour left maybe on the Cube, because of the brighter screen has an impact on that. And when it comes to internal storage, they both have N-card eMMCs, so we don't really know what brand they are unless I open it up, but it's either a 4C or a BWin card that comes out of that. And speeds on both of them, I found that the Onda actually has a slightly faster drive in it. Now that could be down to the various different batches that they use, but I managed to get write speeds there of 62 sequential write, and half of that on the Cube. You can see there, and the 4K speeds there are very low. The 4K write, I mean, just 2 megabytes per second there. It's only 3.4 on the Onda, so both of them, their drives aren't really that fast, but it doesn't tend to really affect speeds, I don't think, that much. Well, I can't really notice the difference between both of them. They seem kind of the same in loading up websites and just moving around the file browser within Windows 10. And when it comes to thermals, both of them run hot. Both of them get up to 85 degrees. So actually we got up to 87 on the Cube here, just doing some gaming at the same time, as well as charging it. So charging and gaming at the same time, that's what it got up to. So it does get quite hot, but according to this, no thermal throttling. And the Onda v820, 85 degrees. And again, it mentioned that there was no thermal throttling. So they both run hot. I've seen so many of these cherry trails now that just tend to get very hot. And it's literally happening to every single cherry trail I have seen in a Chinese tablet. Even the Taiwanese Asus Transformer book, that also had thermal throttling. The only one I haven't seen do it is the Surface 3, but Microsoft obviously took care of that with extra heat sinks and copper thermal pipes, transfer heat pipes as well, I think, that helped out there. So overall, which one would I get? Well, I think I'd definitely go for the Cube. I've also had a couple of problems with the Onda when it comes to the wireless connection. Quite a few times it's just dropped the connection and you get this asterisk pop up. That's a screen dump that I took there. So you get an asterisk in the corner and it comes up saying limited connection. And a couple of times I've actually lost completely the wireless. The network card has just completely gone and I have to reboot the tablet. That is a bit of an annoyance. And the dull screen on it also makes it hard to use in brightly lit environments. I definitely wouldn't go for it because of that. The Cube, on the other hand, I think the screen is definitely a little better, obviously brighter, but it also looks a tad sharper to me too. I'm not really too sure why, but they are definitely different panels in there, and it is a lot better looking when you're running the brightness up. I've also noticed that the Cube screen is quite a cool white. So the way it's calibrated, it's definitely towards a cool white, not a warm white. So it does kind of have a bluish tinge to it. But overall, this is the one I would get here, comparing both of them. The performance is very similar. The price range is very similar. And unless you can get a really good deal on the Onda, I would kind of stay away from it because of that dull screen that now when you can see next to the Cube here, just how bad it is. Are those viewing angles? Yeah, it's quite a shocker there. Thanks for watching the comparison video here. I hope it was helpful if you are considering this. Now, I haven't featured the Chewy Hi8 Pro in this video because I don't actually have it yet. There's no stock at the moment. There's delays on that model. At the time of recording this video, at least, it's not out, and I'm waiting for mine. I do have it ordered, so hopefully later on I can update this video with the Chewy Hi8 Pro or the v8 Plus, which is a newer one they're releasing. It's got a cherry trail in it. Again, thanks for watching. Hopefully catch you on the channel with more up-and-coming videos on tablets. Bye for now.